Okay, so let's do some mental exercises here. So, if Ron Perelman is putting bullet holes in his car with LAPD, saying Kevin's crazy, look what he did, he tried to kill or scare me, or he's doing 100,000 other things with Mike Huntley. Example, hey Kevin, you should move back and finish your last 2 college classes here, and you can stay at my house for a year, with Mike Huntley manipulating. Hey Kevin, oh that's right, he actually flew out. Kevin, come back, and I want to start an internet host provider with you. And oh hey, Ron Perlman just happens to have some great office space in his office building right next to his office and on Ventura Boulevard with an exceptional price, right? Okay, so Kevin's okay. So move back right after he marries Janet Nordette, right? With my second brother, second-hand brother, stepbrother, whatever the fuck you call, from Janet Nordette, which I said I'm not gonna just deal with the next psychotic family member with the well being poisoned. So hey, move back with me so I can tell the world you're somehow doing something to Janet Nordette, so I can have worldwide groups hunt you to kill you, or force, with Charles Sean Dancy, force you into a mental facility under the contingencies that you know what you did at 5 years old, with no actual argument. Let's say let's say Ron Perlman forces Kevin Perelman into a mental facility, which all he's done is throw me in jail with falsified police charges over and over. How does that help? So now we got all sorts of shit on my record, dirtying my name up with falsified police reports and arrests and things to cure mental illness. That makes a lot of sense. That's why when I'm concerned about someone's health, I pop bullets in my car and lock them in cages. Yeah, that helps them a lot. Okay, so let's say you cure this imaginary mental illness while the damn sun's in the camera, backlit. Let's say you cure this imaginary mental illness. Okay, now that person that you've cured can't go out and live their life, because now there's a planet of people running around going, look what you supposedly did to Janet Nordette, look what you, like Havana Ginger, she's Cuban, right? Or Luna Star, or all the people that wanted me at strip clubs when Rody Morales was paid off to take me to strip clubs, right? I try to plant the LAPD marijuana in my house. Okay, so you cure the mental illness, you cure the imaginary mental illness, now you've destroyed the person's life, correct? That's really annoying with the backlighting. So what's the point of curing the imaginary manic depression and the imaginary OCD and the imaginary schizophrenia and if by the time you've cured the imaginary mental illnesses, that person can never associate with any human beings worldwide, because they're running around going, he's the guy that supposedly did this to Janet Nordette, and he's the guy that supposedly put bullet holes in cars, and he's a violent, paranoid schizophrenic, and if you see him, call the police, with Paul Humphrey and Yuka or whatever from the Warner Center Met. And so what did you accomplish? So if it's this way or that way, you're destroying your child's life and riling the masses against him, correct? It doesn't matter. So I'll keep this one short. What's the moral of the story? Well, the moral of the story is don't play God with people's lives. Don't stalk people, which has been done to me daily since 5 years old by worldwide conspiracy to commit murder. In the name of whatever's going on in their head. But that's the point, is that it doesn't matter what's going on in their head. Once they commit the act of stalking and first-degree murder, attempted murder, whatever you want to call it, under Penal Code 182, conspiracy to commit murder, still going on. At the point with these daily attacks and mental illness tactics by worldwide groups, upwards of 4 to 7 billion finding out 25 years ago, to cure mental illness, that's the stupidest thing known to man, right? Okay, don't fuck with people's lives. Don't violate their privacy. Don't follow them around. If you're police officers and judges and anyone with authority and community policing, I'm a lonely community policing people. I'm a lonely person that needs attention, or I need to fill that bullying void. So I want to help the police, right? Leave people alone. Focus on your own life, or what was it? Don't swerve and hit people at random, or stay in your lane. The license plate frame that Jason Perelman put on his Mazda 323 or 232 or whatever, right? That's being pinned on me. Stay in your fucking lane. Live your own life. Get a life. Okay, so why take the most passionate, driven, fun-loving, friendly person who's educating himself or going to college and focused on accomplishing things and launch worldwide campaigns to kill him in the name of mental illness, especially lack of a little eyebrow hair? Well, the moral of the story is don't stalk people, whether you think you're allowed to or not, right? And Anita Perelman and Ron Perelman, in the name of behavior or control, which have no grasp on fucking reality and what people are doing, living their lives. They're stuck in the 1800s, cruising around in horse-driven carriages, thinking that that's 2026 or even 1972, right? Okay, because if I kiss a black girl in 1980, we're way past disco and the hippie era where everyone is getting along together. And yet, if Kevin kisses a black girl, it's your behavior, you're not a real Jewish person, and we have to hunt you and kill you. And ironically, Ron Perelman is dating Hispanic people and black people, or actually, I don't know if he ever dated a black person, but Hispanic in different cultures and religions, and it's not a problem. And same with Jason Perelman. But if Kevin Perelman, okay, so we're back to the hypocrisy, and that's under the clause of mental illness. And you're going to say, wait, you're trying to cure someone by stopping them from living their lives and trying to force them into cages or mental facilities? It sounds to me like you're just angry, okay? Because whether it's extreme left or extreme right, it's all in a cage, right? And to meddle in people's lives, whether someone wants to keep a leash on you by making you dependent on them, or it's irrelevant. There's no possible reason. There's no excuse. There's no justification. Well, you know what? I'm going to help you out. So now I own you, and I'm allowed to violate every piece of privacy and pay off people to kill you. And, well, okay, what was it when my father said, do you want to work at my office, do the computer IT things? Because this was after Mike Hunley's death threats, world of paranoia, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do. And now it's like, well, because you work for me, you're not allowed to go to public places after work. You're not allowed to date women after work because you work for me. You're not allowed to, you better date and marry Adrian Olivares, or, Lorraine Escobar, who I'm paying off to hunt you to have you killed and keep tabs on you, is gonna, pay off people to show up at your house and do things if you don't do what I say. And wait, and they're trying to say that I'm violating boundary issues by being friends with Victoria Walker, who then meets Matt Von Malachi after Michael Bialis breaks up with her, and it's a triangle relationship because you're friends with a girl who is friends with a guy, which would be every person on the planet Earth. You would never be able to leave your house if that was the case. And this is all under the name of insane behavior, or their insane behavior. Kevin, it's your behavior, quote unquote Mike Huntley. My behavior of being normal and sane, and Mike Huntley's behavior of putting Trojans on computers with Ron Perelman and having porn stars follow me from place to place, and like hundreds of them follow me to coffee shops. He's stalking me. Well, it's your behavior because you're at a coffee shop and a porn star followed you. Well, how would I know if the porn star is going to show up before she shows up, right? Okay, so, and this would be Jada Fire, and this would be Lisa Del Sierra, and this would be Danielle Derrick, and this would be, I think, Taylor Wayne, and this would be Jocelyn James, and I could go through 100. But Kevin, why do you know the names? Well, that's irrelevant. And I was building adult websites and shit like that, and Roddy Morales was taking me to strip clubs, and that's not really relevant. See, this is the part where nobody understands. There's always a judgment on whatever I say. Doesn't matter. Well, Kevin, you see this truck? You see how this person keyed... You see how a group of people always... You see how, like, hundreds of people got together to vandalize all my cars? Well, Kevin, it's because you're telling people what's going on. Oh, so because I'm telling people what's going on, that gives them a license to stalk me and destroy every aspect of my life and try to steal my house and cars, right? Well, Kevin, see, because I think you stole a car, which, well, A, how would you get that idea, and how would that instantly go worldwide? Because I'm not telling anyone that. Kevin, I think you killed someone. Well, I never said that, and even if I did, how would I have billions of advertising marketing dollars to get that worldwide? And so we have the right to hunt you and kill you because I think you're a liar. But wait, but killing is a crime, or stalking is a crime, and you just, if you think it's wrong, why would you be doing it? Okay, right? So like the mechanics. Hey, Kevin, I think you stole a car, so we're going to destroy all your cars and stalk you and try to rid you of the world in a worldwide 182, Penal Code 182 and 187 conspiracy to commit murder and execute someone and maybe try to steal the house and cars. But I thought you believed that killing is wrong, so now you're trying to justify doing it. Well, it's your fault because Anita Perelman says two wrongs don't make a right. And she also says you have a problem too. And everything she says with everyone else has no meaning. They're just empty statements. You said the word hey in 1998 to someone. So therefore, you know what you did. And we have worldwide groups to kill you for what you did. And it's also your behavior. But I thought you said it was wrong. And how do you know that? How do you have the information? Okay, Aubrey Fisher. Kevin tapped his foot by me. He committed the tap crime. So she has worldwide groups for 15 years tapping on counters and tapping feet, and everyone's laughing, and because Kevin's supposedly a troll, but Aubrey Fisher's a child raping Jew killer, so she's going to say what she needs to say to get what she wants. But at the point that Aubrey Fisher is approaching people saying, help me hunt and kill Kevin because he's a troll with worldwide groups, you have to question why someone's approaching you saying, help me hurt that other person, right? Especially when it's 4 to 7 billion people finding out in 2001 while LAPD with Roddy Morales is trying to plant the trash bag of police confiscated marijuana when it was illegal to try to make me look like a drug dealer. And you're going to say, but how does this cure mental illness? See, let's say you cure the imaginary mental illness. Well, now the guy's got to go out, he knows too much, we got to kill him. Or now we've destroyed his name with criminal lies. Well, so how does that help the person under the notion of Anita Perelman, Ron Perelman, you're manic depressed, or you have OCD, or you, when they start playing God with people's lives and say, well, I have the right to force this person into cages and cure, see, this is the problem, cure their ideologies of what is mental illness, because Dr. Steve Levinson says what? How many cigars do you smoke? 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 You suffer from OCD. We gotta lock you away. Well, I think it's the other way around. Okay, he's following me places. With my family, paid off with my family. He's working with his judicial and bail bonds friends and Van Nuys courthouse people and corrupt Jew-killing police officers, just with my father and my mother. And then my mother's like, well, I'm concerned. I'm concerned. I just want you to have a good life. But at every turn to expose, same with my father, which is, distance, don't. Everything that can be done to stop the situation, they refuse. They get angry. And the only thing they'll really do is say, hey, let me help you with a lawyer, and he's my buddy, and I'm going to pay him to lose. Okay, and then you start going to public defenders, and they magically, people from the Jewish community, magically squeeze on in. Like you're a rabbi is a public defender for an appeals who's friends with Shep Zeberman, a devout Jewish. Right? California Appellate Project. How did you get this guy here? Well, it's your fault, Kevin, because you're doing projects. You have a folder on your computer that says projects, and there's a whole bunch of artwork that you're building in 3D Studio or Houdini or Maya or whatever, or Photoshop, and, you committed a crime because of the Perelman ideologies. There's not even close to a crime, right? There's 100 billion fucking people out learning graphics software and AI software and 3D software and CAD and 3D printing. And where did you get that 3D model, Kevin? You have a 3D model of a X-Wing fighter. Where did you get it? You're a criminal. You stole from Industrial Light and Magic. Oh, you don't know about computers? You don't know that there's literally, if you type in X-Wing fighter OBJ, there's about 1 million websites saying download free model. Okay, now does Anita Perelman know this? Does Jason Perelman know this? Does Ron Perelman know this when they're making their empty judgments and then paying people to have people killed or eradicated, or you're a criminal because you downloaded a STL or whatever of a X-Wing fighter? You stole from Hollywood. Now, this is what I was finding out 25 years ago in shock. Okay, this is a joke, right? Mike Huntley, you're dead, you know what you did, hint, hint, you killed someone, hint, hint, you're whatever. I don't know if he had the stalker hint, but he was violating the privacy and hinting, and he wanted me to say something with the coerced false confessions, you need to tell me with my family. And my mother's go to a therapist and tell him everything with an angry voice. And you're like, okay, I'll go to a therapist, and I taught myself how to use Photoshop. I created some artwork. I did some studio photography shoots. What do you want me to say? What? Anita Perelman, can you write something on paper here saying that I got to hand the psychologist so they can look at the paper and then go, oh, yeah, he's crazy. Right? But that's why they got so mad, because I then eventually started figuring out what they were doing, because their labels were already on the desk before I entered any worldwide psychiatrist, therapist door with the police. And that tells you everything you need to know. They're not trying to cure jack shit. They're fucking trying to execute. Okay. And the more you find out, the more the death threats worldwide with the family. You don't talk or we kill you. To do what? This is on the notion of curing, helping people have good lives. Remember that my family are all doctors and psychiatrists and secondary psychology degrees. Now, if they aren't and this is the same family like Jason Perelman, you stop me from swinging crowbars at your friend Greg Waugh, blood's thicker than water, we're going to put you in a mental facility, and the entire Charles Manson fucking Perelman family is supporting it with worldwide groups. And I'm going to ask twice and 3 times and 100 billion times here about that one. Okay, so you do the math. 1 + 4 to 7 billion for 49 years under we gotta justify what we're doing with every crime known to man and entire planetary conspiracy is not to cure anything. It's to execute and eradicate at all costs. So that's pretty much it. Okay, so this is a short one. Food for thought, not really, because everyone knows what they're involved in. But to define the situation. What is it that the Perelman family is trying to do since 5 years old? Because every human behavior has been execution or eradication and zero communication. So, 29 years old, finding out, 2001, Mike, what the fuck's going on? World paranoia, have a good life now. We're using the judicial system against you. You had better live a careful life. I'm going to keep whipping you every day, and you better live a careful life. And this really, that aspect escalates after kissing a black girl in 1980 when I was 8 years old. And then the obsession lies, like, well, Kevin, why are you obsessed on 1980? Well, I'm not obsessed. I never would have thought about these things until sitting in an office with a guy saying we have a plan of people hunting to kill you, and me going like, ha, that's funny. You're not joking, are you? Like it took me years to be like, I'm seeing it, but I'm not believing it. And it's daily and almost every human interaction, and with Hollywood actors and adult industry and Brian Longbotham, and hey, let's go to Starbucks down in Encino or in Malibu and play Pavarazzi, where he's having Tia Leone and Martin Sheen come down. Hey, take their picture. Hey, you committed a crime. You committed a take picture crime. Well, wait a minute. Photography is not illegal. Studio photography is not illegal. Especially if you're an actor, you have public, what do you call it? Public domain. I mean, their image is not copyrighted because they're actors. They're public figures. That's why paparazzis exist. Kevin's Kevin's a paparazzi. Well, Kevin hasn't done any paparazzi things. He's just at a place taking a picture. Okay, right? Mike Wexler, 1996, let's go on a road trip. You're not allowed to take pictures of people, friends of Jason Perelman at University of Colorado, and those were actual death threats, and there are things that happened on that road trip where a police officer pulled us over and he had information from inside the car, from the dialogues. Okay, so Mike Wexler was working with the police, just like Kelly Hatch, just like Eric Christensen, and these are all, hey, I want to be your friend, I'm going to hunt you and kill you, to help you. Under the notion of ideologies, photography is a crime. Well, if photography was a crime, we wouldn't have moving pictures called movies, okay? We wouldn't have photography. We wouldn't have cameras. Things wouldn't have cameras in them for tracking. Self-driving cars wouldn't have cameras to calculate the lanes and what's in the frame of the camera so the car doesn't hit people, okay? And so these are the Perelman ideologies that they obviously know aren't true. Justifications, bullying, how do I bash this fucking 5-year-old skull in and keep telling him it's his fault, right? You sat at my fucking bench. I have the right to hunt you and kill you with worldwide groups. And then obviously each thing is turned around, right? Because what was Ryan Hirsch? It was a little staged, harmless event to say, look what Kevin's doing in 8th grade when Kevin didn't do anything. And about 100,000 other things just like that. To do what? Cure a 5-year-old's mental illness? He didn't breastfeed correctly? I mean, now, that's going to be a fucking downhill fucking cliff dive from 5 years old, no matter how positive and friendly and helpful and sane and rational and healthy you are, correct? So the moral story here is, by the family's hate and obsession, control issues, and lack of morals and ethics, that, we can do whatever we want. We can pay off Charles Shawn Dempsey and other cops to hunt you, to have you killed, because we're better than you. Why are you really my Jewish family? You're not fucking real Jews. You're Nazis. Okay? But I am Jewish. And this is all coming under the notion of, there's lack of hair there. Okay? And it's in the DSM-5 book of psychological mental labeling. And you can take that book and you can use that as a weapon to try to justify killing or eradicating whoever you want. In the end of the day, it's a crime. You can't justify killing, stalking, eradicating people. But the Perelman family, with their worldwide child raping, Jew killing armies, have. And then they try to pawn it off as a game or a joke, how to kill or get away with it. We're not doing anything. We're just sending them to elsewhere. Because isn't elsewhere in the movie The Giver or whatever a fluffy term for killing? See, nobody's getting hurt. They're just going elsewhere. That's why when we inject them to put them to sleep, we're not killing the babies. The babies with weak genetics they were killing to create a strong superior race, not like Adolf Hitler, and but they're not killing them; they're sending them elsewhere. See, and Kevin Perelman, he is not the superior race. He has weaker genetics. See, because of psychological labeling, therefore his kind needs to be sent to elsewhere. And it's not by one person with a syringe, it's with a planet of people helping the psychotic Jewish Nazi family, which is fucking mind-boggling. They think it's funny, they're laughing like it's a game and a joke, but they know it's not. And the reason they know it's not is because you can see, if you defy them long enough, you can see their face change. You can see the anger. They could laugh, that psychotic laugh, but the anger is here and in their facial structure and how, like when Dr. Steve Levinson saw me flirting with a black girl and his face changed. Okay, you can see it. Okay, you can see, he can hide it. And what does he say? He says, I never get angry. I've seen that guy get psychotically angry, but he doesn't usually act out on it. He keeps it in and does it in psychotic methods. So you don't know. Now remember, he was paid off by my family. He's a doctor like my father in the same industry and in medical buildings when my father was younger. And he's clearly trying to cover up for Ron Perelman and his crime spree, right? But he doesn't get angry. So he doesn't get angry directly, but when he gets angry, he starts paying people off to kill people or whatever. You can use your creative imagination here, right? With the rest of my family, okay? He gets together with lawyers and people in Van Nuys Courthouse and Judge Stephen Marcus and Judge Dohe, and they create fictional scenarios and lies, and we're going to kill you and steal your house and cars, and working with Debbie Woolman, right, court report, who was already there, already owning the property when my father found me through his real estate agent, the property. So it was all strategically planned out. Hey, Kevin, come back. You can live in my house for a year. I just married a Cuban, Janet Nordet. It was all planned out. It's all being laid in front of me, and you're trying to avoid the fucking dominoes or the rocks on the ground. Yeah, but there's 1,000 people per minute throwing thousands of rocks on your feet, saying if you ever step on a rock, we're going to kill you. Okay, but once again, this is a cure mental illness. Because 16-year-olds don't work on cars and buy 426 Hemis. 47-year-olds don't buy LS7 Corvettes. They only buy Ferraris and McLarens for $1 million, not the Chevys. Okay, so, right? And the guys with the Lamborghinis and the McLarens or the girls, they're okay. They're not doing anything wrong. They're not out of control monsters. Just the guy who hasn't done anything wrong, who's 50 fucking years old, still is not allowed to do the things that a fucking 10-year-old's allowed to do. Example, the reason I've never been in a fucking relationship, or I'll go on a couple dates with women and it's over, is because I'm not allowed to date women. My kind needs to be locked in a cage or killed, and they're all turned against me from day one. You know, like 1980, Kissing a Black Girl. And everyone else is like starting to date in their early teens. But Kevin's not allowed to. Isn't that interesting? And then guess what? They need to cover it up. Kevin's a sociopath, Kevin's this. But every time Kevin interacts with human beings, they lash out. They already know who I am. The well's been poisoned. The Perelman's poisoned. They lash out, anger, rage, and how do we lock you away and set you up and play victim with the police and government and psychology community? No matter where I'm at. It's very rare in 25 years I've had any human interaction without buddy, man, hey. And methods using the internet based on daily conversations or archived things for people to say in repetition to either try to mock or insinuate guilt or whatever. And then the sabotage type things, like with all the mechanics, I'm going to do 95% of the job and then sabotage something so this breaks that. And it just keeps happening. And then while they're doing it, they're barking at you with the anger, buddy. And you're like, why do you keep fucking calling me buddy? You're a freak. I'm going to go to the next shop. Buddy. And then you finally realize that everything is in anger, and the whistling sort of like you're a whistleblower, but it's not directly said. It's just cryptic wannabe Illuminati shit to try to make you look crazy, gaslighting, gang stalking. And this is, remember that 1988, Jason Perelman, me and my friends put a teacher in a mental facility, implying they're going to put me in a mental facility. And blood is thicker than water, and this was after going after Greg with the crowbar. I didn't know Greg was actually involved. Greg was working with Jason on these little staged events and the psychology community in hopes they could make me look psychotic. See, remember that for everything that happens daily for 50 years, they leave out what actually happened and only obsess on Kevin Perelman trying to collect what can be used against me. But they ignore the daily provokings, attacks, sabotages. I mean, I got all sorts of shit on video. I got girls trying to slice me up with knives. I got people following me in cars, probably like hundreds and hundreds, yelling, people throwing bottles at my cars on the freeways. Every single event. And they're all connected. So they're connected to the auto body shops, to the engine shops, to the coffee shop people. And when you, let's say you go to a coffee shop after this event occurs, they start hinting about what had happened, and they're 50 minutes away. Okay, instantly, the communication's instant across the internet. Well, that's not possible. You suffer from paranoia. It's not possible. So the internet doesn't exist. Blogs don't exist. SMS messages don't exist. Email systems don't exist. In 2005, I was building the first stage of KevinPerelmanTarget.com with a SQL database to keep track of the amount of daily attacks that could easily be used the other way if you could somehow unite a bunch of planet of child raping murderers to stalk someone. Not that my system's built to stop, to take the database and go to the police, and the police got mad that I was building systems to expose killing people with mental illness tactics. Okay, think about that. So and then I gave up on the people, because how do you protect a planet of people involved in a worldwide child rape and kill operation that don't understand it's wrong? You can't help. It's too late. You can't help them. They're too fucked up, right? And I come first, despite what the Perelman family says, or weird statements like Lorena Escobar. You would give someone the shirt off your back, and that statement was really about what they were paying off Eric Christensen to do in 1991. Southern Oregon State College mad at me for buying a jokey t-shirt in the Ashland, Oregon Lord's Gym t-shirt shop, right? Okay, so and then befriending me because his last name's Christensen, working the schizophrenia tactics with San Diego police, telling me to have me killed with Jason Perelman. Okay, so, but what's an Alaskan exchange student? How does he have interactions with Jason Perelman? Why don't you tell me, Alexis Amore? I spoke with your brother. You're a stalker in cover-up statements. And it's going back to a t-shirt, correct? A jokey t-shirt, correct? But the key thing is the line of communication. I spoke with your brother. Okay? But why would a porn star who is working with Tim Thompson and Rodi Morales to lure me to strip clubs to get me to like her? Same with Kira Noir, right? She was actually working with Kira Noir on some of these things. If you're in communication with those people, you're stalking. Well, I think you're crazy, so we're going to rid you of the world. Well, that, once again, it's a bullying justification to execute. You can think whatever you fucking want, but the point that you act on it, it's called first-degree murder or attempted murder. Okay? Premeditation, motive, execution. Or executing it to execute. Execution to execute what they want to get. To execute. Okay? To eradicate. Okay, so But it's not one dingbat stripper. I mean, I can go through 100,000. When Mike Huntley wanted me to sign up to World's Gym, they already had strippers and porn stars waiting for me with Roddy Morales. Okay, you think I don't know that? I know that. And when Tim Thompson is calling the manager at the Los Angeles Rhino saying, he called you, or no, you called him, something weird like that, and he wants me to come down to Rhino after Alexis Moore moves, well, they're all the same things. Like, look what he did to me. Because it's the things you say. And then the final question is, well, but how would you know? Example, it's the things you said to Ryan Hirsch in 1982. But you're only 47. I'm 54. I don't even know if you were born yet. How would you have the information that you think you have? See, and the world has these information. They have 100,000 fabricated out of context lies about setup attempts and frame job attempts that they failed, but they still have to fabricate the story, like Kissing the Black Girl. They send in the band Devo to sing Whip It Good, and Kevin conforms the media, and her life's in danger, and we gotta watch him, and none of this ever happened. So when I say, what's going on, and the only answer I get is, you're dead, you don't fucking talk or we kill you, well, we're hunting you to kill you, because we want you to have a good life, and we want you to be healthy. You're brilliant, it's about mental illness. Yeah, making someone look crazy to execute them. And nobody wants Kevin to have a good life and be healthy. They've been stalking and hunting me since 5 years old. And when Ron Perelman says, you know what you did? And I say, well, what did I do? And he says, well, people are lied to, so they're not told. He actually is a cop-out. He has no fucking argument. He's just stalking because he wants to, out of hate, and he wants the victim to either say something that reinforces his lies, or force him into coerced false confessions. So sort of like, I'm going to keep punching you in the head till you admit to what we tell you have to say, right? You're a stalker. Well, if I go to the police and say I'm a stalker, and fabricate something, will they stop? No, they're going to get worse. And then, sometimes you test the waters with stupid trivial things to see what they do. And they bite it like a motherfucking trout, okay? Or a big fucking marlin. Okay, so that being said, by the way, Jason Perelman is the fisherman. He does like to go and fly fish, and I think he likes to sort of hunt Jews with hooks and rip them apart like the movie Hellraiser 2. Okay, so Mr. Horror Movie, right? Okay, so that's it. I'll end it here. So what does this have to do with mental illness, or what is it that the Perelman family started at 5 years old? And why? These are the real questions. Not Kevin's obsessed for questioning why we have a worldwide campaign to kill him. These are the important questions. Okay, we all know it's happening. Okay. You can say, Kevin, I don't know you with your Illuminati bullshit, your wannabe Illuminati bullshit. But we all know, everyone knows who I am worldwide, especially if everyone's calling me sir at the same time, which technically is a sign of respect. But is it when they do it all at the same time? Because are they alluding to something else? In my life, there's probably a 70-80% possibility they are. Because all these things happen at the same time. Okay, we're going to all call him buddy at the same time. We're all going to call him bro at the same time. We're all going to whistle at him and call him buddy at almost every coffee shop worldwide. These things happen after LAPD trying to plant drugs in my house. How could you not question it? What is gaslighting? What is gang stalking? A method to make someone look crazy to eradicate. Okay? So the moment the victim, the target, like myself, starts talking, that's the moment they say, we got him. See, he's not out living a normal life. Was it Anita Perelman says, I want you to have a normal life. But she's the orchestrator of the dependency with the family. We're not letting you get away from us, you fucking sicko. You went to Southern Oregon State College at 18, and we have to have Kelly Hatch follow you and stop you from succeeding. And this applies to everything. Then transferring to University of Colorado, cars, women, dating, every single thing, until they want to reduce someone's life into a breathing bag in a cage in a 10-foot by 10-foot room, correct? Out of hate, or stop the breathing, or both. Because if you can get someone in an environment where you can kill them and cover it up because nobody cares, because it happens every fucking day, and you know they're the dregs of humanity anyways. Like that, the homeless guy that starves on the street and dies, nobody cares, right? They're already pissed at the guy because he's sleeping on the sidewalk, right? What if you just walked up and injected him with fucking an overdose of fucking heroin? You think anyone's gonna fucking care? You think he's gonna be investigated? No. So when LAPD is trying to say that I suffer from mental illness and all these things, there's gonna be no investigation, right? So why are they doing it? Well, I just answered the question. Okay, so that's it. So the moral of the story is, don't fuck with people's lives. Don't play God with people's lives. It's not a joke. Whatever reason worldwide groups are trying to make hunting me to kill me look like a joke, it's a cover-up. It's a way to kill and get away with it, and they know that. And you can see the anger, like Steve Levinson. You can see the pure hate and rage. That, you know, how do we get out of what we started 49 years ago? How do we get out of it? Because I don't want to go to jail for conspiracy to commit murder. Okay, so think about it. Maybe that's why my mother moved to Canada. Okay, so that's it.